I would be among the first to admit that we made mistakes in government. I will be among the first to admit that there was corruption within previous Antigua Labour Party administrations. But I have to admit that the corruption that exists today under the UPP regime makes corruption under the previous ALP administration child's play, my dear people.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance,
I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country.
Let's face the music and dance.
A cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done.
Let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
This is True Labor Talks with your host, the executive of the Antigua Barbuda True Labor Party.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So nice to be back with you. This is the only podcast in Antigua and Barbuda dealing solely with politics, and probably even in the Leeward Islands, if not the region, where it has been going strong for over 2, almost 3 years by now. I'm Vere III, the candidate for the True Labour Party in St. John's Rural South. I am the chairman of the political organization. I'm in studios with my co-host as usual, Lionel Nedwell. Say hello, Nedwell.
Hi, good afternoon to our listeners. I'm glad to be back with you. I wish you all a great 2018. And we come here every week with the intentions of telling you exactly what's happening in Antigua and how we intend to fix the matter.
And in particular, in St. John's Rural South.
Of course. You know, that's the constituency that the chairman here is contested in, and I'm his campaign manager. So, you know, we're doing some real serious work and inroads we're making in Rural South. So without any further ado, I'll let the chairman and my co-host tells you what we are going
what
to
we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
Well, we have several issues we want to deal with, and we're going to deal, is usually with our program, we deal with the constituency, the campaign, how the campaign is going for me in St. John's Rural South. We're going to also deal with issues concerning Eustace Teco Lake, and you know, he said some statements just earlier, last week, about the way he was being treated and the way the powers that things. May be
does things
handle matters in the Antigua Labour Party.
That's right.
Where he said he must fall in line. Without any further ado, we'll get into that now. Yeah. But in St. John's Rural South, it has been a pleasure just to come back for my Christmas vacations and come back out again and to engage the people again. We had a very good week last week. I mean, it was just a pleasure to meet so many people on the campaign trail. Some of them were probably a little stunned that they actually see us campaigning, even though they said election is imminent. You know, you don't really see these candidates. I did hear that Darren Matthew is having a registration drive, but I mean, you're going to get people to register, but you have not engaged the people up to now to tell them how are you going to improve their lives.
Nothing to engage with. That's
so
what
you
the
see what it's
is.
all about,
That's
Nedwell.
right. Yes.
It's all about elect me.
Yeah.
After I get elected, then we'll see how we go. Wash your foot and come.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased. As I told you, I'm optimistic about your chances this time around because just the way I see the people are interacting with us here, it tells me something. It's completely different than the last election there, where people were telling us straight up, you sound good, but look, you people got to go. So at another time around. And it seems as if this is the time. But it seems as if the people have kept their word. Because when we go out there and campaign, they're interacting with us, the conversation that they're having, they're telling us what's going on and what they're not pleased with, and they're glad to see us and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'm quite happy to see how it's working out for us. And we do intend to continue to go out there and just do what we have to do to get it done for Antigua people. We realize that Antigua people are going through a real serious crisis at this time. And we are just trying to let the people themselves realize that, they are going through this and they have us to lead them and help them on and get them out of that crisis if they give us a chance. So let's see what happens this time around here, and I do hope we will continue to meet the people. We are glad to meet them, and we let them know that, and we let them know exactly what's going on, what we intend to do, and that's where we stand on the issue.
Yes, Nedwell. Well, you see, this week, that's the part of the campaign that I love the best. I love house to house. I like to meet people. I like to know how they're living.
Yeah, and hear what
you hear what issues are affecting them in their lives.
That's right.
That's
what it is.
Where we were campaigning this week, we saw the same time or concern. What about the infrastructure?
That's right.
The roads are bad. The roads aren't named. The signage on the roads are dilapidated or were probably put there 40 plus years ago.
But that's right.
Some of the signs that we saw where we were campaigning, well, we saw the structure up.
Yeah, but there were no signs.
With the rain and the sun, and after 20, 30, 40 years,
nothing was
you
marked
don't even see
what
the
was marked
sign
in it.
is.
No, you don't know.
Because the paint has come off.
Gone.
Absolute,
yeah.
And that is an issue which is very important for Antigua and Barbuda because we are a tourism destination. And all roads need to be named.
That's right.
And need to have proper signage. It's not only beneficial to us in Antigua and Barbuda because, I mean, we are born Antiguans, so we know how to get into all these areas and where to go and so on. But you have family coming from abroad. And this is the information age. This is the 21st century. And people would say, okay, come up here by Cobb's Cross. And you would say, just come up on this road. But if the road isn't named, then these people are coming from America. They're accustomed to open up their smartphone and say, how long is it going to take to me to get into Manhattan from Brooklyn or from the Bronx? And you can see when the next train is coming.
I mean, the GPS just...
And you go down and you say, okay, then I'm going to get dressed. I'm waiting for the train. It takes me 5 minutes to get down to the train station. The train is coming in 7 minutes. So you can get down there and get your train on time.
That's right.
We don't have our roads named, officially named. So if we are a tourism destination, it is a problem not only for the locals or families abroad who wants to come here. It's a problem for the tourists because they're supposed to be able to take their cell phones, not bother with a guide so much or a taxi, but go and rent a car and say they want to go up to Devil's Bridge, Indian Creek, go to English Harbor, Nelson's Dockyard, where's Wallens? And they're supposed to be able to find it on their
That's GPS. How it works in this time.
Real time. That is how it is done
in
the 21st century.
That's right.
We're hearing about economic powerhouse, but we don't even have the majority of our roads in Antigua, I believe, named. There's so many roads that have been cut over the years. We have a lot of roads where some people, when they're inviting people to the house, have to stand up in the middle of the road, come up now, go by this building,
Look
this
for my
church
hand
here,
wave.
go west. You see me in the middle of the road, me wave my hand.
Look
that's
for my
me.
hand waving, and that's the road. That's
You
where I'm at.
understand? But if we are able to, as a simple process, it's something that has been done even under the UPP. Because I remember about 3 months ago when we were campaigning, a lady told us that the road was named, but they couldn't remember what the name was.
That's right. Yeah.
And we asked the neighbor. She said, no, it wasn't that it was named a long time ago because she was the oldest person living in the neighborhood. It's that the UPP came and named the roads.
Yeah.
But they never went any
Nothing.
further.
They didn't go any further
Made
with
it
it.
official, put up the signs so that they could be on GPS. And if that is done, it is beneficial not only to the locals, but even to our economy.
That's right.
Tourism.
That's exactly
People
what it is.
who don't come from Antigua. And it doesn't have to be so much of a tourist so much. It could be businessmen coming to Antigua to invest money.
That's right. The next door.
Right? They want to get around the country and see for themselves. They don't want a government official to show them just the nice parts. But let me go and see what is happening in this place. Let me go out to this area. Let me go to Grey Farm. Let me go to Otters. Let me go to City West. Let me go to Villa. Let me go to The Point on my own and check it out. I want to take the vibe, take it in for myself.
That's right.
How are they going to get there? GPS. They're going to open up their phones. They're going to say rent a car, and they're going to. It's a simple thing.
That's right.
It's just not done.
No,
it's just not done in Antigua. Several administrations, not only the UPP but the Labour Party, have talked about naming the roads, proper signage, and in addition to that, you remember this was to number all of St. John's. Everybody the number, so you know in 46 Tanner Street, and for the most part, the colonials did leave St. John's itself in a pretty decent state with numbering, and
that's right, and all that signage
but after
and stuff
that,
like that.
even the portion of St. John's proper that they named, it's so much larger now.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's true.
After you pass Tanner Street, nothing. After you pass Dickinson Bay Street, nothing. You understand? So it was smaller back in the day, but we need to increase that because that is the major source of income in Antigua. That is where business is done. People want to get around on their own. And I've mentioned about cars, but it's not only cars. Businessmen walk around St. John's to get to where they want to go, and in confusion, it would make it simpler.
That's so true. But we need to keep up with the times because right now they're making electrical cars that is self-driven.
Yeah.
You just punch in where you want to go and it takes you.
And it takes you there.
So when the roads don't have no name, you don't even know what you're punching, your GPS cannot connect with it, you're in serious problem. We are behind the time.
The man might punch in his smart car. He want to go to 46 Tanner Street.
That's right, take a big
without
shower.
the proper name, and so he might go off to Shirley Heights.
A serious case. This is really, really ridiculous. We're way behind the time there, and we need to get abreast with what's going on and do what we are supposed to do. Our priorities right now in Antigua are not straight politically. I realize that. The political arena, they just play some silly games with people. And further down the line, we will see exactly what we're talking about when we get to that Teco Lake situation. And what he had to say.
Yes.
So we will, as we go on, you will see exactly what we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, and realize that we are not being served well. As I always said, just before the last election, these guys come with their resume, and they ask you to give them the job, to do the job. But they're certainly not, and they're not even looking as if they want to do the job. So, as I said, as we go on, in the topics, you will see exactly what we are talking about, and you will be able to decide what you want to do next.
Yeah, the whole issue is so sad right now in St. John's Road South and most of Antigua and Barbuda is that it's not even you. I'm asking you to elect me to get proper representation. You presently have no representation.
None at all.
It's almost 10 years of Eustace Teco Lake and 5 on the Winston Williams. where's the representation in St. John's Rural South? You have some of the worst roads in Antigua and Barbuda. I saw the worst road which I thought was up in Radio Range.
Yeah,
and it's been rivaled by Jim Daddy Road in Golden Grove.
That's right.
Golden Grove Extension.
Extension.
But then just yesterday we went into Golden Grove. And we went on a valley road not too far from State College.
That's right.
And then we made the right into Golden Grove.
Right.
And boy, I was like, I didn't know this was so bad. It's been a little while.
Yeah,
because
man,
remember,
some
we
ditch.
usually campaign around here.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
usually take the road before and go
Right.
to see our people,
So,
our supporters. So we never came off of Valley Road and
go
turned
into
west.
that one. That's right.
Usually we come from west and turn
turn
east
east,
to
that's
go
right.
see our people.
That's so true,
And
coming
when we
from-
came that way, it was a eye-opening
Horrible.
event.
Horrible, man.
We took some pictures, man.
Yeah.
I think I will add that to this podcast. I'll probably
That
put
would be
them up
very
on the
nice,
podcast
so that people can see
what we're talking
exactly
about.
what we're talking about.
But we're speaking to another gentleman yesterday, and he said the worst roads
Daddy
in
Road.
St. John's Rural South were Jim Daddy
Jim
Road.
Daddy, that's what he said.
It's almost a toss-up.
It's difficult to
But-
believe because anything worse than Radio Range is
Yeah,
some
I
serious.
still think Radio Range.
Yeah, man.
That road there from
What we
Clarence
saw
Crump
at Radio Range,
coming
yeah,
south,
that's right.
and then the road going west.
Yeah,
Right?
after you come
Which
off
there's
that
not
one.
even a road. It's more
That's
like a
just
footpath.
bush. Yeah, it's a bush.
There's grass in the
Bunch
middle of
grass
the road.
and stuff
There's a
like that.
sidewalk where there's just grass. You can't even
God
see
almighty.
the sidewalk
Yes.
unless you pull up some of the grass to see it. And then further over, there's just no road going west.
But you know the irony about that, Vere?
Yeah.
The minister for that constituency is the minister of public works.
Of public
He's the
works.
one who gets the ones to go out there and clean up the road and patch up the roads and
Yeah.
do all that good stuff. How can that be? I
They
do not
said their
understand it.
slogan. What was their slogan? 2014.
Ready to go.
Ready to rebuild. There's absolutely no rebuilding. There's absolutely they never built anything
Right
in
to the
St.
first
John's
place,
Rural
so
South
the how can
to
they
begin with.
rebuild? So
There's no hurricane shelter, community shelter. There's no health shelter, police station or fire
Some
station
police
to
station.
benefit the lives
That's
of the
right.
people in this constituency, which is one of the largest. Right?
yeah.
So when they put on that shirt the last election, and people in rural South were telling me, ready to rebuild.
No.
It was one of the most depressing
Yeah, they-
occasions of my political career.
They need to
Because
take
I would
off.
even ask them. I asked some of the guys, and I could call anybody in.
Right.
What have they built in St. John's Rural South
They
to
need
say
it.
that they're going to rebuild it?
They
You need to ready to build for the first time.
They had to take. They needed to take the "we" off of them. We ready to build. You know,
only
this is it.
thing
We
that I
ready
keep
after
saying-
how long?
That I know that they built in Rural South was Long Garland years ago, the Golden Grove Primary School.
Right.
And in addition to that, in the mid-1980s,
Yeah,
they built the
bridge.
Yeah, the bridge at
The bridge,
Creekside.
yeah,
And that was
Creekside Bridge.
a national project
Of course.
just to get people from the north to the south on the
and-
western
and
side of
vice
the island.
versa.
That
Sure.
wasn't solely to benefit the lives of the people in St. John's Rural South.
No, it's not for Rural South. It's
Nothing.
just
There's
people
nothing in that
passing through.
constituency that say ready to rebuild. And I saw grown men and women, people past 30 years old, that have some recollection of the of 10, 20 years prior, and 30, 40,
Yeah.
putting on ready to rebuild, when they could have just sat down and said, but why are we putting on a shirt when they haven't built anything in this area?
Nothing was built. So what are you rebuilding?
And it shows the mentality of the
Of
electorate.
course, yes,
But I'm
yes,
hoping
yes, we get in there
with,
too.
with our campaign, with our podcast, we're going on to go live on Facebook next week
Oh,
on
yes,
Variety
yes,
Radio
very
also,
much so.
that
Want to let
we
the people
will
know.
be able to tell the people the truth, and they will act accordingly. Because it's not about you as an individual. We're all grown men and women, the electorate. You're not a child. You're not 12, 13, 14 when you go into that booth to vote. You, by the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, our laws,
That's
you are an
awesome.
adult who must take the time to inform yourself and go into that booth and do the best for you, your family, your country, your neighbor, your constituency. And if you're going to continue shooting yourself in the foot by voting for people because they have a red shirt marked ready to rebuild and a blue shirt marked leadership matters, we are in serious
Of
problems.
course, extremely serious problem. Yes, it's horrible the way how things are going. But as you said, things can be changed. We are coming out here every week to let the people know what's going on and how they can fix these problems. And as you said, when we come out here and we tell you exactly what's going on, we now depend on you afterwards to be guided accordingly and act accordingly. You cannot just accept this time and time again and behave as if that is all right. And I've seen on Facebook a lot of different posts, that's sort of validating the behavior of these guys. Well, everybody do it and all that. We can't go through that sort of living, much longer. I mean, everybody do it. It's wrong, so it should not be done. And that's where we take it from. Not everybody do it and all that. And no, it doesn't work like that. Oh, the previous administration, they were doing this, and we don't want to hear that. We got the previous administration out of power because we didn't like what they were doing. So how you come now to do the same thing and you got to rationalize it to say they did it too? And no. When we tell you these things, we tell you so that you can be guided accordingly and act accordingly and do the right thing so that we can stop having these things happen to us time and time again. Yeah, we need to change our behavior and stop playing party politics and this red and blue and all that good stuff. And we need to do the things that will serve us well, that will solve the problems. And one of the things that I keep on talking about is to mix up parliament with 4 or 5 different party candidates and put them in there so that we can have proper representation, not just a partisan way of voting and then the ayes have it. It does serving no kind of purpose. So this is the way that we intend to guide the people, and I hope that they will act accordingly.
Yes, Nedwell, that's so well said. We're going to move on to our next topic now. We're going to be talking about Eustace Teco Lake. He's been the present representative for St. John's Rural South since the election of 2009. Next year will make 10 years of the reign of Eustace Teco Lake. From the way his comrade leader Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister, threw him under the bus, it would appear that his political career is coming to an end. Eustace Teco Lake is presently ill. That is what the public, for the most part, knows. But I was in the Labour Party when Eustace Teco Lake became the candidate for St. John's Rural South, and he was always ill. He had to have operations at Joey John for whatever illness he had. He came home from the States, he was already a sick person. And that is one of the things the public weren't aware of. When I heard about that, I was wondering why Mr. Lake is a candidate on the platform. He had serious surgery done at Joey John, Dr. John's office. In addition to him, also Arthur Nibs was sick in 2008, 2009 and had to have procedures done at Joey John, where the ALP covered the costs, right? But that is the thing, the public didn't know about that. I mean, I just found out about it towards the end too, because my father was sick also, and he was suffering from seizures, and that is why they went to help get a younger, healthier man to do the job. Unfortunately, Eustace Teco Lake was never healthy. So I just want the public to be aware of that. The sad situation is in St. John's Rural South is that you are looking for a man to assist you that needs assistance himself. He has been ill and he came home sickly and he got the assistance from the Antigua Labour Party to look about his health back then. But the reality is you are looking for somebody to assist you or help you through your life or some representation. But the representation you get is somebody who needs assistance himself. So I saw a problem when I realized what was going on with Eustace Teco Lake. And it does reflect since Eustace Teco Lake and Arthur Nibs won their seats. Well, Arthur just won in 2014, Teco won in 2009. But since they became members of parliament, Eustace Teco Lake and Arthur Nibs are the worst performing ministers in this administration. Even in opposition, Eustace Teco Lake was the least performing of the members of the opposition. You understand? And it reflects. People have to say, has Eustace Lake in the last 10 years contributed to any significant legislation or any political policies or procedures to improve the lives of the people in Antigua and Barbuda? Not that I'm aware of. He is just a person who was able to win a seat with actual representation. They haven't had it in the last 9 years that he has represented the people of St. John's Rural South. I'm going to read from an article. It's from the Antigua newsroom, and it's titled, MP says he was forced to resign, 30th of January 2018. The Member of Parliament, St. John's Rural South, Eustace Teco, has said he had no hand in drafting his resignation letter. Someone within the capacity in the Prime Minister's office wrote the resignation letter, Lake told Observer Radio. The letter indicated Lake's desire to not contest the next general election due to his ongoing health concerns. Apparently it's his kidney. I don't think that the Prime Minister instructed the letter to be written, Lake responded when asked whether he believed that the PM requested the letter to be drafted. Because I remember that in one of the cabinet sessions where he was told what was in the letter. But the Rural South MP said he was forced to resign in an attempt to get him to resolve his ongoing battle with his failing kidney. I will give the PM some credit because what he wanted was for my health to be fixed, they commended. Despite all indications that the Gaston Brown-led Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party had already pegged its newest senator, Darrell Matthew, as its choice for candidate in Rural South, Lake maintains that I don't know about my position being filled. I didn't lose my seat. With Darrell coming on board, it appears that the PM has some institutional knowledge of why he would like to be in the position to be contend. What would like to be in the position to contend in this election and is utilizing that to the fullest capacity to get him elected. I don't know about that last phrase there, exactly what that is saying. To me, it appears that Teco Lake knows that something is up. His goose is cooked. And right now, I think he's singing like a canary.
Of course.
Listen to the clip that we have. This is the audio clip, and this is the part I found amazing. This is Eustace Teco Lake about 2 weeks ago on the Snake Pit, being interviewed by Serpent. And this is what he has to say about politics, not only in Antigua and Barbuda, but in particular the Antigua Labour Party, corrupt Labour as I call them.
You know, but at the end of the day, I realize this. Look, one of the things I learned coming home, see, the political scene in this country is twisted. There's nothing clean, and you fall in line.
Boy, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, you toe the line. Can you imagine? So you don't have a mind of your own anymore in the political arena. You must toe the line and follow the leader or something of that sort. And this is what Teco is actually saying here. But you know, I read something too on Facebook that Teco has been warned not to go on the radio or something of that sort. And then within that same article, I read something where Mary Claire Hurst was saying that Teco, he will understand, because when the Prime Minister and the leader call him in and they already tell him what they have to tell him, he'll be towing the line.
No, he will fall in line, not towing the line.
He will fall in line. That's so true.
That's
what he said.
Saying.
Yes, he'll fall in line.
Teco said it, you know.
That's
in this corrupt system, I didn't realize until I came home.
That's what it was.
That at the end of the day, I'm going to play it again. It's very important to hear what he's saying. He is admitting to what I realize and why I'm no longer a member of that organization.
That's right.
And that is why we call them corrupt labor.
Absolutely.
Because they themselves have admitted to the corruption in their organization.
That's right.
Listen to this one again.
You know, but at the end of the day, I realize this. Look, one of the things I learned coming home, see, the political scene in this country is twisted. There's nothing clean, and you fall in line.
No. What political system has he seen?
The same one he's in.
The same one he's in.
Yeah, he saw what it was.
And where did he see it from? From the UPP side or from the Labour Party side? He's a member of the Antigua Labour Party.
Right.
So, but I would believe he's seen the whole thing. But in particular, he's talking about where he's seen it the most.
All right,
the Antigua Labour Party.
That's right.
You understand? Teco, welcome to Antigua and Barbuda politics.
That's exactly.
And if we do not stand up, individuals come out and say enough is enough. The status quo is not benefiting the common man in Antigua and Barbuda. We can do better as a people. We have a proud political history. This is where the 39ers were fighting to get democracy, to get rid of the colonials, to purchase syndicate land, to get our associated in statehood, to win our independence. And now you're going to basically say give up the fight and say, well, this is the best we can do. No, this is not the best we can do. This is the least we can do. We can do better than this in Antigua and Barbuda. And that is where I stand. And if you believe you can do better, I would not be down there at North Street with them. I know Antigua could do better than that.
That's right.
It's not that they don't have good people in the Labour Party, but they have people, when they see wrong, would keep their mouth shut and say they're loyal to their party, how much they love the party. That's my party. If you love your party more than you love your country, then don't come to True Labour.
It's pointless.
Right?
Yeah.
If you love your party more than you love your neighbor, you love your party more than you love your family, you love your party more than you love your constituency, the good in that can be done in a constituency, do not come to the Labour Party. Stay down there on North Street.
Yeah, but you have the MP telling you that politics is dirty. That dirty. You know it's time for you to be doing something.
Yeah.
You have to now take a step back and say we got to do what we have to do to clean this thing up.
Yeah.
But then when you continue to go on Facebook and all these social medias and try to rationalize the ignorance that's going on, when the MP himself is saying, look, this is the dirty game. One thing I saw when I came home is that politics is a twisted thing in Antigua. It's not clean. Meaning that it's dirty, a dirty game. And how can we continue to go down the same road there? I keep on. I post a lot of things on Facebook there. I try to let the people understand, look, no, this is not the way. We have to tackle the problem and fix the problem. We can't go decades after decades continue like this. The country isn't going anywhere if that's the way we're going to do things. So I just do hope, as we put it, that the people will just, act accordingly and be guided accordingly and do the things to get this country fixed.
And we're going to end this whole topic by playing the Honorable Eustace Teco clip again.
That's right.
One more time, because I believe that repetition in anything that you want to understand, you want to gain a skill at, you have to repeat it so that people who didn't hear will say, oh, I missed that one, then just get in the room, just pat me on the stove and maybe back me turn. So this is the third time now we're going to play it over again. Listen to this one.
But at the end of the day, I realize this. Look, one of the things I learned coming home, the political scene in this country is twisted. There's nothing clean, and you fall in line.
There's nothing clean, and you fall in line. And then Mary Claire Hurst had an article after that, telling him after he speaks to the leader, he will fall in line because the Prime Minister promised him that his job is secure in the sense that he is going to get a job as a senator.
That's right.
If they win the next election, so that he can have his 2 terms and 1 year to collect his pension.
That's right.
You understand Antigua and Barbuda? That is what they have over Eustace Teco Lake. If Teco had 2 terms and 1 year, they couldn't touch him. But they have it. He needs 1 more year. He has 10 years. He has to get 1 more year in order to collect a pension. And all this Teco acting like the maverick, the lone wolf, acting all rebellious. Eustace Teco Lake will fall in line.
He knows that for his pension.
He will fall in line.
You see that's how he gets no pension?
Yeah.
So that's why they have. That's why they swing
have him
over his
by
head.
the balls.
They're swinging that over his head, my friend. Oh, man.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to another topic now. I think we've flogged that one enough.
Yes.
The whole idea of the marijuana industry, the True Labour Party in the 2014 manifesto, we wanted to legalize marijuana. We wanted it to be a highly regulated industry. We wanted it to have licenses, not only to grow it, but also to sell it. And we believe that that is the best way to go. I am not pleased with what I heard about them decriminalizing it. Yes, I am happy for the young men and women who would have been brutalized by the police and get a criminal record and carry through the legal system to the police station, to show up in court, to take away their passport and their whatever else, and they can't get to work on time because they have to keep showing up in court repeatedly, and the matter is adjourned, and they have that whole criminal record in them. I am happy that hopefully this has come to an end. But you've won a battle. You have not won the war. To me personally, Nedwell, the whole decriminalization of marijuana is like maybe 33% of the battle has been won.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, to deal marijuana is still a criminal enterprise.
That's so true.
It's still a criminal act to transport it, to sell it, to engage in the business of marijuana, dispensing it. You're a drug dealer, an illegal drug dealer. You're not a pharmacist.
That's
right? So if you are saying now that you have decriminalized it for the people who are using the substance to a certain amount, or 10 grams, I think I heard, and you can have 3 or 4 plants in your house for your personal use. To me, you are enriching the drug dealer.
Of course.
Because where before, somebody who was smoking marijuana won't take the chance to buy so much more. I'm not going to do that. I have a college education I want to get, and I can't go get myself incarcerated and go spend years for my matter. But now you've been emboldened. Now you will take the chance.
That's right.
So it's illegal for you to smoke it, but the drug dealer is still an illegal enterprise.
Entity in this stuff.
And worst of all, even more than that, you have a 50-50 legal-illegal. The government is not getting any revenues from this illegal trade.
Most important.
The legal trade of marijuana, we said you have like you have a driver's license or a liquor license. You have to have a license to sell it. You have to have a license to grow it. And with a license, the governments will be taxing you education levy, medical benefits, and social security. You have to pay your taxes. That money would be going into government treasury.
That's right.
As it is right now, people are more emboldened to take a chance and go and buy
And give the
the illegal product. They won't be criminalized because of it. But the drug dealer is holding on all the profits.
That's right.
The criminal
He gets the big
mind,
money.
the criminal endeavor
He's making
is
the
still
bucks.
making more money from
He's
the
making the
legislation that was
bucks.
passed by this government.
That's right.
And this is why we say no. Decriminalizing it for the young and people who have been brutalized, the Rastafarian community, I support it. But I want more. I want it to be a legal industry. I want it so where our government, the True Labour Party government, will really be able to do one major thing we said in our last manifesto, and it was to pay off our national debt.
That's right.
The way that this industry is going, it is so new. If we get in there early, we'll be able to capitalize on it. There will be a boom in the legal marijuana industry, and we'll be able to pay off our debts.
That's right.
Why the way we know we're kicking the can further down the road for another generation to deal with all these debts. And I think it is wrong. We as grown men and women electors need to realize that this is a cash cow, that it's probably once in a lifetime opportunity, one in 100 years, that there is a demand for this product out there, and it will be satisfied. And when it is satisfied and we don't have ourselves in there in that industry from the get-go, we are not going to be getting enough of the market.
We're not going to benefit.
We're not going to benefit because Antigua is a small island. We cannot outproduce Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Vincent, Dominica, nearly every other island in the Caribbean, except for probably St. Kitts.
That's right.
I think St. Kitts is the only island that is smaller than us.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
small.
to extend Barbados too.
Yeah.
But if you add Antigua and Barbuda, but we are one of the smallest island nations in the world. We cannot compete with Jamaica and Trinidad and Guyana. And when they legalize this product, which is just a matter of time, by the time we get in there, we won't have enough of the market. We're not going to be able to push them aside. So that is why we had pushed a program of legalizing highly regulated marijuana industry. Yes, you will have to have a license. And if you don't have a license, the same laws apply that are in effect right now. It is illegal if you don't have a license to grow it, and it's illegal if you don't have a license to sell it. And that is our position in it. We're going to roll it out again in our manifesto for the upcoming election. We're going to make some changes to our policies, because on the last occasion, Nedwell, you remember we said we wanted a referendum.
Yes, that's what
and we're going to only approve a legal marijuana industry if the referendum come back thumbs up. But at this point in time, with Antigua not becoming any economical powerhouse, with the death of the CIP program, with the promise that was supposed to be the leader with the thousands of jobs from $1 billion investments in 10 years has not come on board, has not come online. And therefore, we are saying this is what the True Labour Party will put forward as our economic policy. We will legalize the marijuana industry, have it highly regulated so that we can pay our bills.
Absolutely.
Right now, the criminal minds out there, the drug dealers, are the ones that are carrying that money. They're holding on to all that money.
Building all kind of big houses and all them kind, because they're making the money.
They're making the money.
Yeah, but
and they are not paying any taxes.
No, none
One of
at
the
all.
biggest industries in Antigua and Barbuda is not being taxed.
That's right.
It's not being taxed.
That's true.
So where are we going from here, Antigua and Barbuda? We need to realize that it's not a perfect world. I think from our history, coming out of slavery, that the black man has too many vices already. We have our alcohol. We have our problems with gambling. We have our problems with these illegal drugs themselves, with the more serious ones, the cocaine. There's some people and the crack. It's here in Antigua and Barbuda. And I don't like to add another drug to the mix. But if it is highly regulated, if it's you go to somebody that is selling it legally and you're saying this person has a problem, we will be able to get it out to the legal dealers of this product to say this person do not sell to that person. He can go elsewhere to get it illegally, but in a legal place that he can go, he can't sell it. We'll be regulating it.
That's right.
When you say you're selling it to people under 18, they have to produce their identification that they're over 18 years old. That is how we say we're regulating it, so we'll be able to avoid
any sort of
the minds, to be influenced by something that we don't think you should be having a say in yet. You're a child. You can't have that say. You're somebody that has an addiction. It has gone from just a habit to a need. We're going to say, put out a notice, all dealers do not sell to this individual.
That's right.
Anybody who is under 18, you can't sell it to that. It's not there in our society. Anybody can smoke it. Anybody can sell it.
That's right. Before you even reach double figures in age, you can go and get that stuff illegally.
I remember I had some clients of mine up in All Saints Magistrates Court. And we were killing some time because the magistrate hasn't come yet.
Right.
And they were talking about the good times on the Labour Party, Lester Bird. And the guy went and told me, on the Lester Bird things were so good. I was putting myself through school by selling marijuana in his house, in his, you see, like he had a garage and he had up all his lights and so on. He said he was putting himself through school from selling, and now things so hard right now. These are young men that could have a license,
of course,
and go and provide for themselves and their family.
Right.
They already have the knowledge of how to grow it, how to cultivate it. That is knowledge that is going to waste at this point in time.
Very much so. Probably he passed away and before this thing even gets
legalized. In addition to that, the Rastafarian community, they need to benefit from all the brutality that has been meted out against them.
Over the years.
And we do say in our manifesto for the next election that the Rastafarian community, the tribes, will have a license to grow and to sell this product.
That's right.
They have been brutalized. They need to be compensated in some way, shape or form. And that is what we propose to the Rastafarian community. You will have a license. All the tribes will have a license because you need to be compensated from the brutality, the crimes against humanity that has been meted out, not by the police, by the crown.
That's right.
Make a difference, because you cannot say it's the police that do it. The police are agents of the crown. It is the crown, the government. Mr. Brown should have apologized for the way that the brutality has been meted out to the Rastafarian community by the government of Antigua and Barbuda.
That's right.
You understand? Go ahead.
Yes, can you imagine that in 2014, when the election was called, that we were elected, where we would have been right now with this marijuana issue? Billions of dollars has been made in Colorado and other places, California. They've been making tons of money there on the same marijuana. Now, what I noticed in the discussion of the marijuana, it was said the reason why that it could not be legalized is because that sanctions will be imposed on us. And then when you really look deeper into it, the people that they say are going to impose the sanctions on us are the people who are making billions openly. Making billions and telling you that they're making billions. So how can that be there? That you are making billions, but you're going to impose sanctions on me to try to make billions the same way you are making
You're making billions, making an honest dollar.
It doesn't really make much sense to me there.
No, it doesn't.
So to tell me that you can't legalize it for that particular reason, it's sort of they're not really getting to, they're not telling me the truth. It cannot be. Could never be. So, this decriminalization and all that is sort of a pointless. Again, as you mentioned, yes, it's good that, young people coming up won't have a record because they're being caught in the split and be brutalized in the same house.
The legal system.
But, it's not doing nothing for Antigua there, that no taxes, none of that stuff there. Can you imagine?
But you're still promoting an illegal trade.
Exactly.
And I have problems with that.
Yeah.
If it is illegal, it's because there's something so bad with it that you cannot unleash it on the public. But you're telling people they can still buy these
you can
illegal,
have it.
drugs, but just because they get caught with it, they won't be criminalized.
No.
So I have it's half-assed. The whole idea, the whole decriminalization is half-assed. It's like people who are sitting on the fence.
Yeah, it is. That's really not, it's not really, compact in the way how it's supposed to be done. It seems as if much thought hasn't gone into the whole stuff. It seems as if
it's on the eve of a next general election.
Oh, so there's a rush to
constitutionally due
do
by
something
June
that
of
can get
2019.
To some votes.
And it's just it's cynical. It's just like, that these young people are being brutalized.
Desperate,
The Prime Minister said he saw Rastafarians being brutalized in his youth. He saw them being brutalized. You have been a parliamentarian since 1999.
Yes.
Next year will make 20 years that you're a parliamentarian. I've never heard the Prime Minister speak out about the brutality meted out
said
to
that it should be stopped.
Rastafarians or people who are coming with a little spliff or roach in their pocket. All of a sudden now, the eve of the election is now, and he is now reminiscing on his youth and how the Rastafarian community were brutalized.
So strange.
That is what you call a political prostitute.
Absolutely.
And he wants votes now, so he's trying to make himself look so humble and so kind and so willing to help the person. Do you think, and I'm asking the listeners of this podcast, do you think that the brutality meted out to the Rastafarian community and anybody smoking marijuana stopped on the 12th of June 2014? It's only it stopped on the 11th?
Not at all, my
the
friend.
day before? He only
not.
continued on the day before?
That's right.
And before that, but since corrupt Labour got into office, it all came to an end. I am a trial lawyer. I go to the police station and see these individuals. I see these individuals sometimes, they hide out in my office. Because if they show themselves to the police station, and before I arrive, they're going to get beaten up in the police station. So what we do, they come to my office first. We take pictures of take off your shirt. So that we can take pictures of your back and your front and your side and your face. And then after I walk them into the police station and they get brutalized, we can show
this is
he was in my office
and
this was the way he was prior to coming to this police station. And that is a reality. It's just pure hogwash with what the Prime Minister is saying.
Yes. So certainly it's awful there. It's not really making much sense to me in terms of how they're doing this thing. As I said, the taxes that you would normally get from having marijuana legalized, totally legalized, you're not getting it. The only persons who are getting the real money right now would be still the drug dealers who I mean, decriminalizing it, you're not really doing anything except for the people, them that the young men, them that will be probably getting a record if you call them the product. But the whole thing needs to be done properly. It needs to be legalized where you can get your tax. You can benefit from tourism because they have places that people just might go to and to just to get a taste of that good stuff and all that. And that's how some of the tourists spend their time of their vacation time. So when we are not capitalizing on it the way that we should, it's really not making much sense to me. You legalizing 15 grams of marijuana. My question is, where does the 15 grams come from? Who benefit from selling the 15 grams? It's a drug dealer, of course, and we are not really getting the benefits, the true benefits as a country in terms of the legalization of marijuana and how it's going across the world. To all across the world, you hear things are being happening. Right now in California, what they're actually doing, that person who had criminal records for marijuana are now being the record are being cleaned. It's expunged. It's they wipe that off your record there because then they realize that look, it was totally an awful situation that the marijuana was the marijuana plant was demonized by, as they put it, by some sector in society. Why it was like that, and we to see that we in the Caribbean that we don't have any mineral, we don't have no gold, no diamond. All we have is dirt. And what we can get from the dirt is some good marijuana that can translate into finance, into some good money. And we are not using it there. There's a lot of still isms and schisms about the whole thing, and we need further consultation. The consultations and stuff like that are done by these big countries already. They already tell us, look, how scientists say this, how doctors say this, and all that. And many of the things that happen in Antigua is being done because it's been researched by the big countries and we just implement it. We never going to know research in many of the things that's happening in Antigua. So now when you're going to have to tell me, well, look, we have to have consultation and many more research has to go through and all that, you're just making some frivolous excuses that, that's really not to take you off the hook, it appears as, and to make it seem that, look, I really want to do, but I cannot do. And that is not fair to all there. To tell the people that we cannot legalize marijuana because we'll be sanctioned and we're going to have to follow behind Canada and let Canada do it first and however they want to do it and all that. No. This is not right at all for the country. It's depriving the country of some well-needed finance that we need to wipe off our national debt that we had promised in our last manifesto that we were going to do if we were elected. And we are still promising that when get elected, we are going to do this thing the proper way. We're going to regulate it. We're going to have the dispensers that who are going to be there. They have to have their license, and they're going to pay their taxes. They're going to pay all their taxes, education levy, all the whole chunk back. We're going to have the people that going. That's right, and they are going to have to pay their taxes as well. So to just have people on the street and say, well, it's all right now, okay, I had 2 spliff in my pocket and stuff like that. This is not right there. It's not right for the country. So we need now to go and sit down and get this thing right. We need to regulate the product, the way how it is being done, and have the product being dispensed in a proper way. We need the taxes being paid. We need to have areas where that when the tourists come specifically for that purpose, because this will happen. This is what's happening in Colorado. When they tell you about how much they make, they tell you how much comes from the tourism, marijuana, and they tell you how much comes from the taxes. And they rival one another. It's big money coming from both. So when we just deprive the country of doing that with some frivolous excuse, it is not right at all there. And we need to change that behavior. We need to change that attitude. But as One of the MPs just said previously, we heard it. It's a twisted things in politics. Politics is twisted. They do things to benefit them or their own selves. And that's right. And it's not a matter of that you want to, we want to do things to benefit the country. We want the country to be able to pay off their national debt. This is a priority, Vere. We can't borrow money nowhere right now, Vere, because we owe it just about everybody. Mm-hmm. You understand? So we need to get that off, wipe that off the books, pay these people off, that in case we want, with which if we legalize marijuana, I don't even see that we'll have a need to be borrowing anymore, because marijuana will really hold up this country financially. Yeah. It's doing that for other big places. And if you can do that for places with millions. I mean, what can we do for people 90,000 as long as we have a great product?
Yeah.
And again, you always keep mentioning we have to get into this thing early because our land mass cannot rival a lot of these countries that have large, huge land masses. I've seen a greenhouse in California that may be twice as big as Antigua. This is what's going on. This is what we're up against here. These places have great land mass, huge land masses. So when they go to grow, they grow in abundance.
Yeah.
You understand? So how in the world we are going to keep up? We have to get in early, market our product. Oh, I've seen on Facebook as well. I've seen on Facebook as well that St. Vincent, they call in their scientists and they start testing the product. And they're saying openly, look, our product is better than Jamaica product right now. It's your THC.
I've heard so. I've heard
yes, I saw it there.
Good.
I have seen it there, with my own eyes on Facebook.
But I believe the Antiguan one is the best.
I don't want to believe so.
And
that volcanic ash coming over across the border.
From the Montserrat, from the Montserrat.
Yes, but that's right.
Hitting the barometric pressure into the Macnish Mountains.
Man,
the ash mixed with the Antiguan
that will give us some serious.
Some of the best ganja the world has ever known.
Tell the honest
black ganja is the best in the world.
Right. That's right.
And we will make that a reality.
Absolutely.
It is going to be the Cohibo of marijuana, the Antigua
That's
black
what we
ganja.
need to promote.
Yes.
You understand? So
definitely.
When we can do it, we can
definitely,
do it.
Nedwell. It needs to be done.
Yeah, we definitely.
Nedwell, you said something earlier about the Prime Minister saying they can't legalize it because they fear sanctions.
Yes,
but they have gotten our name into some endeavors seeking jobs and money.
That's right.
For the people of Antigua and Barbuda, purportedly, that have got us sanctioned.
That's right.
Do you remember the offshore banking industry?
Yes.
Was blacklisted by the Bill Clinton administration in the late 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. It was blacklisted around 2000. I think I was in Bahama doing my conversion course when I heard that Antigua's offshore banking industry was blacklisted. They didn't have any fears of sanctions then.
No, man. Bold.
Do you remember the offshore gaming industry?
That's right.
About what, 6, 7, 8 years later, that was sanctioned.
That's right.
That was had because remember we even had to go to the World Trade Organization.
Absolutely, this gets
and up to now we don't have any money from that.
No.
So they took a risk with the offshore banking and the offshore gaming industries in Antigua and Barbuda, but they did not fear any sanctions.
No.
And up to now they're fighting World Trade Organization and America to get their money.
That's right.
So when he's talking about he's afraid of sanctions, but look at the Antigua Labour Party who put our name in disrepute because they got involved with some of these oligarchs from Russia sending all their blood money to Antigua to launder the money. Then they had all this Bodog and all these people were engaged in online gambling, where America said they did not.
That was illegal.
It was illegal in America. Marijuana is still illegal in probably half to the majority of the states in America.
That's right. About half.
He's afraid of sanctions from America,
but
online gambling, which is illegal throughout the whole of America at the time.
Yeah,
he went straight through with it. Oh, hell yes, definitely.
That's good for us.
You understand?
No fear.
Antigua and Barbuda, there's a lot of hypocrisy coming out of the Prime Minister.
Sure is. That's the
word. He has one objective and one objective only: whatever it takes to get re-elected into office, because life is good, life is sweet. He's a multi-millionaire. He thinks he's the cock with the biggest crow.
That's right.
But time and patience will see Antigua and Barbuda through this hot mess
Absolutely.
called the Gaston Brown administration.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
that is where I really want to end today. Nedwell, we have another minute. I'd like you to close out.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, again, as I told you, you need to take a look at how you do your voting. And, as I said, I will always mention that, it's be wise to vote different parties in Parliament so they can represent you well, ladies and gentlemen. This sort of hypocrisy and bogusness is what's going on in politics, so they need to change. And only we can change it, we as the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, and I will continue to ask you to take a serious look at how you do your voting and stop play party politics. Party politics have hurt Antigua over the years, and will continue to hurt Antigua. This red, blue, green, even we are grey, all that. Not even watch our color. Just watch what we can do for you, who we have to represent you, and see how well that he can represent you, and do the right thing, be guided accordingly, and act accordingly. And with that being said, I don't think I can urge the public anymore
Until
than
next
I'm
week, that
doing.
is. Until the next episode.
Next week, that's right. When I come
done
again,
enough for now.
I'll be saying the same.
It's lucid
That's
and
right.
concise.
That's
1
right.
hour.
That's
and
right.
we'll come again next week
Next
with
week
some fresh
and tell you
topics and
exactly.
some new ideas
That's
from a
right.
third political organization. We're like the little red engine that said, I can.
I can.
You can.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so take care. Bye for now. And we'll be back soon.
Bye.
A buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Bree-bree-doo, bree-bree-doo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top."